Hey gorgeous, welcome to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L Society, a woman's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching, creator of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L method, an infertility warrior, two-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really any symptom of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly because we will be interviewing amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're just beginning your fertility journey or you've been struggling for years, we are going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Are you ready? Thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get started on your road to transformation. Hey gorgeous, welcome back to the show. I am so excited to have you here. Each week, we're going to talk to some amazing experts and really dive into topics all around fertility. So you're not going to want to miss a single show. If you haven't already, take a minute and hit that subscribe button. That will ensure that you never miss a single episode. So we'll take 1 second. We can wait. Hit that button and make sure you're all set. Also, I would be forever grateful if you would leave us a review on iTunes. This will help more people find this show, and it will allow us to help even more women on their journeys with fertility and hormones. And this is how iTunes decide who is shown what. So this way you can do your part to help the infertility community, and it would make me so very excited. So thank you. I would be forever grateful if you would do that for me. Thanks, gorgeous. And now let's get on with the show. Hey, beautiful. Do I have some exciting news to share with you? Because of countless requests and being frustrated as hell that I cannot help more people, and let's face it, there's only so many hours in a day, I have decided to do something super cool just for you. I have created a membership site. And on this platform, I'm going to provide you with lots of education, inspiration, community, hope, and a ton of fun. And to give you a little pleasure in a time that sometimes is everything but pleasurable. Every month, there will be new areas to explore and new people to connect with. All of this and more. So many resources to help you put the pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so you can finally get pregnant and eliminate those pesky hormone symptoms without spending thousands of dollars or jeopardizing your precious time. To learn more about this exciting new membership or to join, visit coachkayla.com/membership. I'll see you on the inside. For more than 18 years, Dr. Marc Sklar, aka the Fertility Expert, has been helping couples struggling to conceive empower their fertility naturally with his online fertility programs and virtual consultations. He's the creator of Fertility TV, a YouTube channel dedicated to natural fertility with over 100,000 subscribers, the founder of the Reproductive Wellness Clinic in San Diego, California, and the clinical director of marcsklar.com, helping couples via online programs and virtual coaching. He has extensive experience and expertise in treating and resolving the causes of infertility and recurrent miscarriage loss with classical acupuncture and Chinese medicines. A doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, board-certified herbalist and Oriental medicine practitioner, and president of the American Board of Oriental Reproductive Medicine, ABORM, Sklar approaches his patients with an open mind, compassion, and a medically integrated perspective. Since completing his master's degree, Marc has studied with many prominent figures in the field of Oriental medicine as well as the Western medical world at large. Working closely with his mentor, local fertility specialist Donna Keefe, Marc has been trained and certified in the treatment of infertility and women's health. Marc has also trained at the Harvard Medical School Mind-Body Medical Institute under Dr. Herbert Benson, MD, and Peg Baum, MS-NP, where he became certified in mind-body medicine. Let's welcome Dr. Marc to the show. Hey, Dr. Marc, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm really honored and excited to be here with you today.
Yes, awesome. So tell us a little more about you, who you are, and kind of how you got into this world of fertility.
The big important question of where I came from.
Yes.
So I'm actually originally from Miami Beach, but I live now and call my home San Diego. Went from one beautiful city to another, just with better weather.
Right.
And I got started in the fertility space. I've always had an interest in women's health in my studies and really even far beyond before that, when I had a lot of friends who would just confide in me and talk to me about what was going on in their personal life. And it kind of really interested me. And so when I was in school, I just naturally went towards women's health. Fertility wasn't the initial focus, but when I got into the clinical side of things and I started working with my own patients, all the patients who came to see me were really all around women's health and fertility. It's not like you go out marketing when you're in the school clinic and,
right.
and patients. It's just what comes to see you, and that's what came to see me. I had already been working with some mentors who focused on fertility, so it was kind of already pushing me in that path. And then really the spark that turned everything over was the first two patients that I helped conceive. One was a woman with PCOS, and I started working with her, and 4.5, 5 months later, she didn't realize it, but she came in telling me she was pregnant. She just didn't realize she was pregnant.
Oh.
And after I sent her to the bathroom with the pregnancy test, we were both so excited. That really was a huge spark for me, just to see the impact that I can have, and that this sort of medicine can have on someone's life to create the family that they've desired. I helped her with her second. And so that was the first patient that really moved me in this direction. The second was actually my older brother. He had been trying, and even though he was in Miami, I spoke with him and his wife back then, and we were really just focusing on a lot of coaching that, you and I do now. Although at the time I didn't know that's what I was doing, and really just with the help of, guiding them and coaching them, changing their diet and tweaking some things on their end, they were able to conceive. They actually have 2 sets of twins.
Wow. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So those were really the 2 big forces that pushed me in this direction. I always joke, because I think for how much of an impact I had on their lives, I don't think any of them realized how impactful they were on my life, on my path, on my journey, in the direction that I would go.
Yes, I love that. And I completely agree. I mean, it's just, you're changing people's lives, but they're changing your life too. So it's just like the most amazing field to be in. So I love it. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about kind of the work you do. I know you talk about the 12 areas of fertility that we really need to be focused on if we're trying to get pregnant naturally, I'm assuming, or through art treatments. So what would you say those 12 areas are?
Well, I think these 12 areas, and I'll just brush on them, but I might miss 1 or 2, but regardless, I think it's about the general concept of what we all need to be looking at. And you hit it, the nail on the head there. Regardless if you're trying naturally or through assisted reproductive technologies, these 12 are the areas we all need to look at. They're often ignored regardless of which path you go on, for a variety of reasons. And I would also say that regardless if it's a male issue or a female issue, these 12 are places that we can always go back to start. This also helps. The reason why I like to look at these 12 is because it helps us to look at, or to focus our attention on the areas of need. We often, it's so easy, like, oh, I'm really good at exercising, so I'm just going to do more of that.
Right.
Or I really like, cooking or go grocery shopping. So I'm going to focus on that, but we forget and ignore the things that are more difficult for us and more challenging. And so you take these 12 areas, you go through it, and really realistically, you score each category 1 through 5. The higher the score, the better. The lower the score, the more attention the category needs.
Gotcha.
And you just have to be real with yourself, right? So one of the categories at the top is sleep. I think we can all realistically look at our sleeping patterns and say to ourselves, yeah, I'm an awesome sleeper, always a 5, right? Or, no, I used to be good, I'm not anymore. Maybe I'm more like a 3, right? And so, it's not about grading yourself perfectly. At the end of the game, when you're looking at the 12, all the things that are 4s and 5s need less of your attention. And the things that are 3 or below need more of your attention. And so I think it helps for us to focus. So the categories are sleep, stress. I do separate stress and mind body, because one is dealing with stress in life, and the other, and they do go together, but the other is like, what am I doing for my mind-body connection, right? And those are 2 different things. Digestion, physical issues. Do I have physical traumas that have affected my health, and in this case, my reproductive function, right? Like if you've had physical trauma to the testes, or you're in a car accident and something happened to your back or pelvis or something like these are all things that we sometimes don't really give the attention that they need. Environmental issues, toxins, those could be put together. I separate them because they can mean different things. I don't know if I mentioned digestive issues. That's a big piece for me, often ignored. Immunity, inflammation. I know I'm missing some things there. I can't remember off the top of my hand. I'm not looking at the wheel.
Yeah.
But you get the picture, and I have this on my website. I talked about it on a lot of my YouTube videos. You get the picture that with this fertility wheel, these 12 areas, you can really start to be your own advocate, and you can empower yourself on your journey. You don't always need someone to guide you. And often when you're working with your REI or your OBGYN, or maybe even with you and I, we might not see all these little things, but if you're looking at this objectively, you would see, and then you could bring that up and we could say, yes, we need to focus more attention on those areas. And so I just think it really helps to ground us, focus us, and really put us in the direction that we need to go. It also helps you as, a fertility couple going through the process, and me as your coach guiding you through things. It helps us focus our attention and our plan on the areas of need, because it's really, there's a lot of information, a lot of different directions we can go. And we need a solid plan, and potentially an order, right? Like if we have 5 things that are 3 to 1, I might say, well, we really got to get those 1s up, right? Would it be nice to get the 3s to 4s and 5s? Sure. But it's really probably more important to get the 1s to 3s. Right. So when we prioritize, we put that at the top, and we say, okay, I'm going to focus initially on these 2 or 3 things. I can get to those other things after, right? Because there's only so much time and only so much we can do.
Right.
For me as a coach, it also helps me, because depending on which ones need more support, then I also would prioritize different things more. So digestion is a huge focus for me. It's a really big part. And often I'm sure someone saying this out there listening is like, well, but we're talking about fertility. What is digestion?
Right. It has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
A lot to do with it. Your gut health is really, really important. Without having proper digestion and GI function, you're going to compromise all sorts of things. So that always goes to the top of the list for me. And then things go down, right? So I do think it's a nice way for us to focus our attention and give those things the attention they need.
I love that. And I love kind of like a checklist, a holistic approach, because I find that there's so much we cannot control with infertility. Things are happening. There's things that the doctors we cannot control, but these are things we can control. I can control how I react to stress or what I put in my mouth or how much I sleep. Like, these are very important things that we can control. And so I think it's really important to talk about this, and it gives us that control back. So I love that you're talking about this and saying this, because I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I love control is a big deal. It also, what that does is it brings empowerment, right? We feel more empowered to take control. We feel more confident in ourself, in our process, in our bodies, in our reproductive function. These are all things like, if we can't get our mind to be on board with where our body needs to go, and that we can trust in our body, that we can trust in what it's supposed to do, and in the direction that you're headed, right? Sometimes it's about trusting the process. We hear that a lot. Then it's difficult to get on that path. I spoke to a woman yesterday, and she's being pushed a little bit faster, I think, than she would like to move forward with her IVF process. And it's not her first, but she's just feeling a little bit down and deflated with everything that's going on and the news she just got. And I said, there's no rush.
Yeah.
Like, if you put it off a cycle, it's really not a big deal, right? Don't feel like you've got to jump in. We need to get your mind in a better place so that when you go forward with this process, you don't feel like you wasted your money and your time, right? Like, we want to trust that we are doing the right things and trust in ourselves. So that's something that we have to work on with her, and something she has to work on with herself. And all those things have to be looked at together.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love that you talk about the mind-body connection, because that's something I talk about a lot. I think it's very powerful, and it's something that a lot of times people think it's woo-woo or whatever, but I mean, I completely agree with the mind-body connection. So I would love to dive into that a little more, kind of what your thoughts are there and how you see that as such a powerful piece in the fertility process.
I mean, it's, our mind is such an important piece in our overall health and life satisfaction, period. Right? Like, I'm a firm believer. I don't talk about this too often. I think just because of what you said, like, I think it turns some people off. But I'm a firm believer that we create our reality, that we create the world we live in, right? And it's harsh in one way. It can be really positive. It can also be really hard to digest, because if bad things are happening, if negative things are happening, you might say, listening to my comment, you might say, well, what am I doing to create that? I would ask you the same question though, right? Like, what is it that we're doing that's creating those things? And it's hard for my kids to understand it, but I often say the same thing to my kids.
Yeah.
Bad things happen and they've put themselves in a situation. I'm like, well, what did you do to create that?
Right.
So I think as adults, we have to ask ourselves the same question. Now, there's a lot more detail that goes into it, right? And it's certainly, as we get older, it gets more complicated. But I do, like, we all know people that we come in contact with that always bad things happen. Like, what? Something's always happening. Right? And I always turn to my wife. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing, but they're creating this, and I want nothing to do with that. Right? Like, and these
that
are the
energy cannot rub off on me.
I don't want any of that. And we all, like, I've had to step away from relationships, from friendships because of that, because it's not something I want in my life. So I would encourage everyone who's listening to do a couple of things: is look at the relationships you have, the friends you have. Are any of them bringing you down? Are any of them always talking negative that pulls you in that direction? And when you leave there, you feel worse than when you got there, right? Like, that's probably not a relationship you want to be in. You might say, but how is that affecting my fertility? Any negative thing that's pulling you in the wrong direction is going to affect all the positive things you want out of life. So I want you to get less of that and more of the people that really rise you up, that lift you up, bring you to better, bring you to more positive thoughts, and bring you to believe in yourself and what you can create. And then beyond that, you have to then say to yourself, okay, what am I doing in my life? What are the things that I'm telling myself that's bringing me down? If it's real, like let's just go with the thought for a moment that what I'm saying is fact, right? That you create the world you believe that you live in, and that you're going to live in. So let's not poo-poo it for a second. Let's let's just take out all preconceived notions, and let's just go with that thought for a moment and say, if that's true, what am I doing to bring on, to not give me the results that I want? And I think we then start working backwards. I'm not being kind to myself. I'm saying that I can't do it. I'm saying that it's been so long. Why would it start now? Right? Like all these little negative things that we start telling ourselves are your body is starting to believe, because you've repeated it over and over and over again. So you have to start to retrain your mind to tell your body new things. And that becomes, that comes down to positive affirmations, repeating them over and over, because we have to retrain our brain, right?
Our brain's a big computer. It's just a big computer.
Yeah. We all hear this, the term brainwashing.
Right.
Listen, we all have been brainwashed all of our life.
Right.
We need to brainwash our brain the right way now. That's what we need to do. We got to wash away the negative, pull in the positive. And it's that sort of thought process. And we can do that with anything in life. You've got goals of where you want your life to be. Create it. Write it down. Bring it to life. And the same thing is true for your fertility. Now, does that mean that that's all you have to do and you don't have to worry about all the other things? No, we've got to get all of our ducks in a row. But without getting our mind in the right place, our body's going to be hard to follow.
I love it. I completely agree. And it's so powerful when you start living in this world where you are creating what you want and you are saying those positive affirmations to yourself and you're, living in this positive space. Great things will happen. So I love that you're talking about this. It's amazing. So let's talk about some more of the kind of physical things that we can do. So let's talk about male fertility. It takes two people to make a baby, and I don't think we talk about male fertility enough. So what is kind of your take on male fertility? How often are you seeing this as the issue in the couple, and what can the male do to improve their fertility?
Wow. I mean,
that was
so
a lot.
much information to cover, but it's a really important topic.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost, we all need to understand that 45 to 50% of all fertility issues are male factor related.
Wow.
Does that mean that there's not a subsequent female factor? No. I mean, there may or may not be, but I'm just right now, we're just talking about men because they don't get the attention that they need to get, and it's often ignored. And this is, I think this happens for multiple reasons. One is just men have a big, male ego. They don't want to be told that their sperm aren't good enough. They're not masculine enough to create a baby. I mean, that's a big psychological issue for men, right? So much so that they don't want to get tested.
Right.
By far, I can't tell you how many, because it's just too many to count, but I would say of the couples that I work with, I would say a good 30, 40%, but when they come to me, even after years of trying, the partner or husband has not been tested.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I find the same. I know. It blows my mind.
It's such a big number, yet it's such an easy test to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no test that a woman does that they can orgasm simultaneously.
Right.
Right? Like,
right.
I mean, we're asking you to give a sample at the same time. You do get some pleasure. Is it awkward? Sure. But I mean, it's really not a big deal.
Right.
And it gives us so much information about male fertility and overall health of a male as well. That it's such an important variable for us to check. So we do want to check always male fertility. I'd rather do that sooner rather than later. I've been working with a woman for 9 months, and I finally got her husband to do a semen analysis. Now,
oh my goodness.
Thankfully it was all healthy and looked great, but it took 9 months for him to agree to do it. It shouldn't be that difficult. So for all you men, step up, go get tested. It's not difficult. And let's rule that out so we don't have to worry about it. And there is an issue, which does happen in 45 to 50% of the cases, then there's a lot of things that you can do to improve it and affect it. So the first thing is going back to those 12 areas we talked about in the fertility wheel. What's going on with my sleep and stress and diet and nutrition and digestive system and inflammation? Like, these are all things that can impact it. We also know that as generations have progressed and as time has progressed, male fertility has declined.
Right.
So we can't think that we are immune to this issue, and sperm are really sensitive and volatile. So there's a lot of little things that affect it. Heat is a big one that can affect it. Being exposed to toxins and chemicals can affect the quality of the sperm. So if you work, I don't know, in a lab or someplace else that you're exposed to a lot of chemicals, or you have been at some point in your life, that could be a reason why we're having some fertility issues. You also might not necessarily see that on a regular semen analysis. You might have to do more advanced testing, which is called the DNA fragmentation test, to see how those things are affecting the DNA of the sperm. And that's often, you might do a regular semen analysis, everything might come back fine, but still have abnormalities in your fragmentation, in your DNA fragmentation test, which can cause difficulty with fertilization and difficulty with maintaining a pregnancy. So miscarriages can be attributed to this, which is often ignored. The other thing that's a big no-no in my book is cell phones, around the waist.
Yeah.
Or even with computers on your waist. There's lots of ways that you can combat that these days. And I do think that, that's really something that needs to be considered and factored in, right? We all keep these on us,
right?
But that should only be kept on you to get from point A to point B. Once you get to point B, it should come out and be put down away from you, right? Like, there's really no reason for it to be on you at that point, unless you're going to have like an EMF protective case. They do make EMF protective underwear, I've seen. Like, all sorts of things.
Cool.
That we can use. But, we've got to keep the swimmers healthy. And there are, for those who are listening who don't understand sperm or semen analysis, there's three main parameters, but there's a lot more to that as well. But I'm going to focus on the three main ones, which is sperm count, motility, the way they swim and how well they swim, how fast they swim in a forward progression, and then morphology, the way they look. Do they have one head, one body, and one tail? And for all the men listening, the majority of sperm that men produce are abnormal, and that is considered normal.
Wow.
So we have to take that with a grain of salt, but you're producing hopefully tens, if not hundreds of millions of sperm. So we still have lots of sperm to work with, but I don't want that to be a surprise when we get things like only 50% are swimming well.
Right.
That's not a bad number. So we have to take all of that with a grain of salt, but it is important. We do have to account for that. And you do have to step up as a man. You have to step up to be part of this fertility journey with your partner. Even if you have good, healthy sperm, there's a lot you can do to support your wife or girlfriend or partner. And, but especially if you have some abnormalities in your semen analysis, then for sure you've got to take control. You've got to step up to make changes to see those things move in the right direction.
I love it. I love it. So would you recommend somebody get both of those tests done as far as a whole semen analysis workup, or did they start with one and kind of see where they're at and then do the next one?
You start with the basic semen analysis, which is still pretty, it should be relatively comprehensive. I don't recommend the DNA fragmentation for everybody unless I see abnormalities in the morphology.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or we have a history of miscarriage, or the man is older. Those are the three criteria that say, yes, let's do this now. If not, I might wait to do that. Yeah. Gotcha. Now, if you have the means and the financial ability to just say, hey, we want to do everything up front just to rule it out, by all means, there's no harm in it. It's
Gotcha. Okay. And then if they find they do have abnormalities, do they, they start working on these 12 steps, try to improve things naturally. Would they come back in and get retested once they've kind of done this for a couple months?
Absolutely. So you've got to get retested. I don't like to retest. So it takes a good 90 to 100 days.
90.
begin to see those changes. So at the earliest, I like to give it 4 months before I test usually, unless there's something that's pressing us to do it sooner. And then you might not see all the results, but as long as you're seeing a change in the right direction, then at least you know, okay, let's keep going. And then we can, come back and revisit this at some point in the future.
Gotcha. Amazing. I love it. Such valuable information. Oh my goodness. So tell us a little more about where we can find you. You have a wonderful YouTube channel and Instagram. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, on all the social media platforms, if you just look up the Fertility Expert, you should find me there. On YouTube, it's Fertility TV, and I put out, or usually put out, a new video a week in most cases. And I've got hundreds of educational videos on there. So if anyone needs more information there, just make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's going to be probably the most informative for everybody listening. If you just want to follow me and say hi, then you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. And you can always find me on my website at marcsklar.com.
Awesome. I love it. And I have to say, I told you this earlier, your YouTube channel is wonderful. Instagram, I love it. So everybody listening, you need to subscribe, you need to watch, because he puts out some great information. So yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah. That's really sweet.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, any final thoughts before we close out here?
Yeah. Look, I think the question I often get, I got it yesterday again, is there hope for me? Right. And I want you all to know that I really do believe that there's hope for you. Some of you probably can't see it because we're on a podcast, but I've got a hope sign behind me. I really do believe that for most of us listening, there is hope on your fertility journey. It's about you finding the right path with the right plan to get you the results that you're looking for. And I want you to know that just because someone has told you, no, you can't in the past, or they said you need to use donor or something like that, doesn't mean that has to be true for you or the reality for you. You have other opportunities. You just have to find them to find the right path for you and really find the right person that can guide you on that path. Most people are just looking to find out if you're a good candidate for IVF when they do their initial workups for you. They're not looking to find out what's wrong. We need to take a different perspective, find out what's wrong, create a plan to get the results that you need.
I love that you say that, and I could not agree more. So thank you for that. Awesome. Well, Dr. Marc, it was a pleasure. Oh my goodness. I've loved every minute of this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. So make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.